Yay, we're live. Hi, everybody. Who's ready for Wealthy Winning Wednesday? Okay, we are live on air and the countdown begins. We got about 2 minutes before we start our topic today, which is agents, all about recruiting them, training, and retaining them. Yes, that's a tongue twister. Try saying that 3 times fast, right? We also have some great bonuses for you today, and we have a couple of books we're going to recommend. Hiring, my new favorite book about hiring not just anybody, but hiring the right people. And another book we're going to go over is The Best Place to Work, Attracting the Right People Like a Magnet. So those are going to be part of our discussion today. Welcome, everybody. I see we already have 13 people and counting. How's everybody doing today? Go ahead and type in the chat. Let us know where you're from and how your day is going. You can see at the top of the chat bar, there's a little sticky chat, and that I have already put a few links for you. One is Realty Pro Academy licensing, and that's an arm that does just licensing, continuing education, state-approved courses for real estate agents and brokers. Ivan, hi Ivan from San Diego. Woohoo! Glad to have you on board. Samantha from Raleigh, North Carolina. Yay, welcome Samantha. The second link up at the top is Realty Pro Academy training. We're going to talk about the importance of training today. And the training is all about professional development, sharpening those skills, and helping your agents meet their production goals. Oh, Carrie Wilbanks from Southwest Florida. Hi, Carrie. Liliana from Space Coast, Florida. Yay, Florida's in the house. Oh, Leona Klein from San Diego. Yay, San Diego's in the house too. Tony Jennings from Detroit. Woohoo, Michigan. Kiera. Hi, Kiera from Philadelphia. And Danielle Sharp from Fort Myers. Welcome, everybody. Okay, we're up to 20 attendees so far. Brian from Raleigh, North Carolina. Welcome, everybody. Deb from Indy. It's drizzling there. Okay, that's winter weather, I guess, is setting in, although it is still pretty nice and sunny here in the San Diego area. Eric from Amsterdam. All right, thank you for joining us. I'm not sure what time zone you're in, but that's definitely many time zones away. So glad you could make it. We have Jamie from Twin Falls, Idaho. Hey, Jamie. Sukita from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. All right, Tennessee. The place where everybody wants to go, right? Nashville, Tennessee. I don't know how far you are from there, but that's a wonderful place. I know a lot of us would love to go there for conferences. We were talking about that in the Indie Broker Group, by the way. Thank you to the Indie Broker Group for allowing me to post this in the group, and also to the Lab Coat Agents Broker Edition. Shout out, woohoo! Yay! All right, Murnash from Florida. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. We're up to 25 attendees so far. And is everybody ready for a great Wealthy Winning Wednesday? All right. We're going to go ahead and start this slideshow. Oh, Sukita said you're 20 minutes from Nashville. Oh, okay, wonderful. Start our slideshow. And today is Start Your Own Brokerage, Blueprints to Build Your Empire Profitably. And today our session is number 5, which is all about agent recruiting, but we actually have a lot more than just agent recruiting we're going to talk about. And we're going to try to pack this into an hour. However, I know I have so much content It's probably going to be more than an hour. So just, buckle in and hang on. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us wherever you're located at. As you know, our sessions are all about learning the Fortune 500 concepts without that expensive MBA degree price tag. So we're going to teach you a lot of the things that I learned in MBA business school that you can apply to your brokerage. And that's what our company is all about, MBA Broker Consultants. We don't play the game, we change it, and we show you how you can change the game and be more profitable in your brokerage as well. So today's mastermind for brokerages only will be the 5th of 12 steps. We'll have an activity workbook. We'll have some bonus downloads that you're going to love and some resources. Actually, we've already started putting the resources up there at the top. And a little bit about me. I think everybody pretty much knows me already, but I did get my MBA degree last year. It's one of the best things I ever did for understanding my real estate brokerage business. After being licensed for 30 years, I now have the tools that I need to go forward on a much higher level than being a little mom and pop shop brokerage. So I've been a broker owner of California Coast and Country Homes. And my motto is to elevate the standards of professionalism in our real estate industry. You can see a few of my books there. So step 5 is pouring the foundation. Before we said it's important to start with your vision and then taking that, putting it on a blueprint, right? And then what do? You gather your equipment and your tools, you dig the foundation, and now we're going to pour the foundation. Pouring the foundation is going to encompass agent recruiting, agent training, retaining, and yes, that's sort of a tongue twister. We're also going to talk a little bit, very briefly, about compensation, and lastly, calculating profitability. We're also going to touch on termination a little bit. So the whole ball of wax for the agents. Now, what happens if you build a building and you don't have it on a foundation? When the winds blow, that house is going to collapse, right? But if you dig your foundation deep, you pour it concrete, a strong foundation, then your business is going to stand firm, whatever the winds may take you, whether it's a recession or it's strong competition from your competitors or just the industry changing. So we're going to be prepared for all of those, right? Now you got my favorite guy here, from Home Alone. He's saying, why, oh, why? And sometimes we get frustrated with our agents. Okay, I'll admit it. Sometimes that does happen. And we know that whether our agents aren't performing, whether our agents are causing us liability, or they're leaving the company, whatever the frustration or problem is, the answer is always recruit more agents, right? Sometimes we hang on to that bad agent, not necessarily a bad person, but somebody who doesn't align with our values or is not producing. But we hang on to that person out of desperation. Why? Because we don't have any other agents, or we don't have many agents. So hiring more agents gives you the ability to fire the ones that don't align with your company's value or aren't performing or just, aren't getting along with your team. One top producer can make all your headaches go away. So never stop searching for that right person. Now, you might not hire that person as a top producer. You might hire them as a newbie or a medium producer or a seasoned agent, and you can take that person and cultivate them because they're a diamond in the rough waiting to shine. And that's what we're going to talk about today, cultivating your agents. So the first part of this is about recruiting agents, which is attracting them because you have the right culture, and also a little bit about a marketing plan. Now, I know many of us have seen the DISC profile before. So for those of you that haven't, I'll just go over it briefly. We have a wide variety of personalities, right? But if you can boil it down into 4 basic types, it helps you sort of categorize people's skills so you can place them in the job that's the right fit for them. So D is a dominant personality. That's a person who likes results, the bottom line. They're often innovative, a leader. They're out in front of the pack. You're going to see those in your top producers and probably also you as the brokerage owner. Then you have a person who's an I, that's influential. That type of person is enthusiastic. They love people. They're great at building relationships. They're probably charismatic, fun-loving, and that person can motivate others also. Those are your natural salespeople, and those are the people that you want to see in your organization as salespeople because they have a natural knack for it. S are your steady people. Those are people who are dependable, cooperative. They're your hard workers, right? They're the backbone of businesses because they're often working tirelessly behind the scenes. And those people are great support people. So they're good on teams. They might not be good performers all alone by themselves, but they're great on teams supporting top agents and top producers. And they're also great as transaction coordinators, office assistants, and other things that you might need. And then you have your conscientious people. Those are very detailed. They like to plan ahead. They want everything to be accurate and perfect. They're number crunchers. And I think my personality is a little more there than some of the other ones. And those type of people may not be your best salespeople, but they might be great support people as far as your back office, your admin staff, people that keep you on track. Definitely your CPA and your attorney are probably in that category. And those are great team members that you need. So are you looking for the right fit? We're going to talk a little more about the right fit too today as we go along. All right, we're up to 32 people so far. Awesome. So now that you know about the personalities, who are you seeking? Do you have a list of your criteria of what you must have in a real estate agent and what your wants are? By the way, I should back up a little bit. When we talk about real estate agent, we're really talking about salespeople who join your brokerage under your license. Now, I do realize in some states, I think North Carolina, Illinois maybe, there are states that everybody is licensed as a broker. So when I say agent, I don't necessarily mean the status of an agent of a license, but just somebody who's working under your license. It might even be a broker associate, okay? We just use the term agent as a generic term of somebody who's working under your license. So again, the first step is to start with your criteria. What are your deal breakers in an agent working under your brokerage? What are the things that you want or you would like to have? And the whole reason for that is that you want to hire the right person who has a value match with your brokerage. Now, I'll give you a little tidbit here. The number one reason we fire agents is usually because there's a poor value match, right? They didn't uphold the values in our organization and we have to let them go. Couldn't we simply eliminate firing those bad apples by hiring the right ones in the first place, screening them a little more carefully to make sure that they meet your values of your company, right? And okay, I'll show my little book right now. It's called Hiring. And this is a brand new book I just got from the author, Dr. Olin Odekoven. It's his third book, I believe, and it's all about hiring people with the right value match, developing your recruiting strategy that aligns with your values, and also great little thing in the appendix here is about their competencies as far as core competency, functional competency, leadership competency, and things that you would want to make sure those agents have. Or train them if they're a newbie agent, they have no experience in real estate. I think that's a great way to start somebody on the right path instead of bringing in somebody with already a preconceived idea. Start them on the path that you want them to. That's the great part about hiring newbies, right? So what are your goals for your agents as far as production? your values. And remember, we did your value statement at the very beginning in step number 1 of what your company values. What about geographic area they serve? What about availability? That's a hot topic. Are you going to hire part-time agents that are not available during the day? They're only available weekends and evenings. So that's something to think about too. Is that something that is part of your value match with your brokerage? What about their ability to work with teams? What about their attitude, right? A lot of times we will have conflicts between agents within the company because they don't have a teamwork attitude with each other. What about their niches and experience level? Niches include things like, are they focused on military? Do they do probate? First-time home buyer? Maybe you need a well-rounded brokerage that serves many niches. And what about their motivation level? That's one of the most important things, is motivation level, because it's not something you can teach a person, and it's not something you can even really incentivize them for. People have to be motivated from within. So we'll talk about that more again later. So the value alignment, that the values that we created in our very first session were our vision, mission, and values, right? So everything in our organization is built upon that. And if we understand what our values are and our culture reflects those values, we'll be able to attract the right kind of agents who align with those values. So we have a little poll here, and our poll is called, what's your company culture? So I'm going to go ahead and make that available for you. So is your company culture A, ambitious and entrepreneurial, B, caring and collaborative, or C, unsure, you haven't really given much thought to it? And if you haven't, that's perfectly fine, because that's what we're here to do today. So the difference between A and B, I know it might be hard to pick because we like to be both, but think about how your agents view your company. Do your agents view you as the company to join for top producers and you're killing it in sales? That would be a little more ambitious and entrepreneurial. Do they view you as somebody who cares about them and cares about the clients, and collaboration and teamwork is more important? If so, that would be B. And C is, I haven't thought about it yet, or I'm not sure. But hopefully by the end of today's session, I will have discovered a little more about our company's culture. Okay, we're going back and forth. We got ambitious at 36%, caring and collaborative at 64%. That is great. By the way, neither of those are wrong. They're both right if that's what you want your brokerage to represent. Ambitious and entrepreneurial, I think you'll see more perhaps millennials or younger people working there. And caring and collaborative, you might see more seasoned pros working there, right? Okay, 10 more seconds to answer. We've got ambitious at 33%, caring at 67%. That's a 1-to-2 split. Any more? All right, I'm going to go ahead and end the poll now. Okay, great. So if you have any comments or questions about that, go ahead and type it into the chat and we'll answer it as we go along. So your culture really begins with you personally and your leadership style. Do you care? Do you listen? Do you support your agents? Are you available for them? Are you accessible, or does your phone always go to voicemail when they call you, or when they email you? Do you answer? Do your agents feel that you're approachable and that you're responsive to their questions and concerns? Because if not, they're going to go somewhere else. They're going to get their answers maybe from an online website or social media group that might not be the answer that you want them to have, or they might do the things that are not part of your value statement. And does your leadership style reflect your values, honesty, integrity, and other values that you've said? Do you set clear expectations of what you expect of them. And I believe that that's a very vital part. We're going to talk about that in the onboarding when we get to that a little bit later. But definitely they need to know what you expect. You can't just hire agents and then say, hey, go sell, and let them flounder on their own. Do you provide them positive guidance? Again, we'll go over that later today, along with the the training and things that you're going to show them exactly what you expect and give them that support that they need. And most importantly, are you modeling the behavior, the actions, the style, the attitude that you expect from them? And that's the best way, of course. Okay, we're going to keep going here. Next is, what is your company's attraction rating? What is that, you ask? That is how your agents and your team members will rate you. Not what you think about your brokerage, but what they think about it. So it would be very interesting for you to give a poll and ask your agents anonymously, how do you rate in the areas of teamwork and caring, entrepreneurial spirit, collaborative atmosphere, positive energy, a go-getter attitude? So to find out exactly what they think and to have that feedback so you can understand what your culture is and how they view you. Okay. So a little bit about culture and the way that your office is perceived or your brokerage is perceived. This is a website that I did for recruiting, so I want to talk about that for just a minute. I called it My Freedom Office. Make your career move convenient, earn unlimited income working from your home or mobile office. You're free to work without papers, cords, or cubicles, free to work when and where you want without overhead expenses. Okay, so you get this. I'm not saying that this needs to be what your brokerage values reflect. What I'm saying is, think about having a separate website, not your company website, but a completely different website that speaks to what you provide to your agents. Now, again, I'm not talking about technology and tools necessarily, because those are features. I'm talking about benefits of how they can personally benefit, and draw a picture. This is a very visual picture of where agents can see themselves. Relaxing, enjoying their business. It's all about the lifestyle appeal. So again, this is one of your great tips is create a dedicated recruiting site where not only you can send prospective agents, excuse me, but when you do recruiting through your broker kit or whatever you use for your recruiting funnel, you can send them to this site. And also your existing agents in your company, they can send them there as well. So what kind of lifestyle appeal does your brokerage have? And create a website around that. Something that's fun, exciting, appeals to your culture. Okay, everybody getting some good tips so far? All right, so now we're going to discuss marketing plan. There's 3 types of marketing plans. The first is existing agents, and those are people that work at a competing brokerage. The next are newbie agents, and those are folks that are just getting their real estate license. They're already in school, or they are taking an exam, or they just got their license and don't know where to hang it. And number 3 is not yet agents. And what does that mean? I'll show you as we get there. But that is about the philosophy of attracting people who haven't yet thought about becoming real estate agents, your non-customers. So what is your goal? Your goal is to generate a pipeline of qualified agents. Now, when you are selling real estate, which many of us still do, what do you look for? You want a pipeline of buyers and a pipeline of sellers. You're going to cultivate that pipeline for the long term, right? And cultivating agents is the same way. Now you're a brokerage owner. Instead of looking for buyers and sellers, your main focus is looking for agents. And you're going to cultivate prospective agents, put them into your pipeline. Now remember, they're not all going to complete the process. It's a numbers game, But because some will not complete the process, and also just through attrition, which means people leaving your company, which happens, you have to continuously recruit more agents. If you're not in a constant recruiting mode, eventually your brokerage will die out because agents will eventually leave. Okay, so always be recruiting to your pipeline. So now we have a little poll, and the poll is, where do you find your best agents? All right, let's put our little poll up here. Where do you find the best agents? Do you find your best agents from your marketing system, as we were just discussing, which is, you have a system, you put them in your pipeline, you have your marketing you do to them? Or do you find the best agents through referrals from family, friends, existing agents who are happy with your brokerage? Or C is, do you plunder them from your competitors, which is usually the best way to find top producers, right? Okay, so, we're getting some great answers here. Marketing system, 33%. Now it's down to 29. Friends and family referral, 57%. Plunder from competitors, 14%. Okay. Plunder from competitors is now 22%. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just business. That's the way business works, and you shouldn't feel bad about it, because guess what? Those same competitors, they are courting your agents, and when your agents leave, they're going to go to a competitor. So how do you get even? You go to that competitor and grab 2 of their agents, right? That's part of the game, is when you go to the MLS and you pull up the stats and you find the top producers, they're top producers because they're working somewhere. So obviously you'll be pulling those from competitors. So, okay, awesome. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. And our poll is marketing system, 21%, friends and family referral, 64%, plunder from competitors, 14%. Okay, awesome. So we're going to go through those 3 now. We're going to talk first about finding existing agents. Where do you find them at? Get out of the office and meet new people, right? Don't be afraid to say hello to strangers. Go to events. I go to realtor industry events. I go to MLS caravans, open houses. I'm in a few other professional associations in real estate. I volunteer there. I meet other volunteers there. So are you getting out and meeting some agents, right? There's a great book called, I don't know why I don't have these books handy. Anyway, a great book about starting your business. And the whole point of the book is get out of the office, meet new people, talk to people, and see what they want. Start those conversations that develop into relationships. Also, what about pulling the MLS production stats? You're looking at agents that already work at existing brokerages, but you can easily identify who has what production and if that's an agent that you want to do business with. Now, I know there are some tools to use. So I would suggest, if you're not a little mom and pop shop, if you're big or you're looking to grow big, don't just go to the MLS. Pay for a subscription to a service that delivers all those production statistics directly to you, and it's an agent recruiting system. Okay, so that's my tip for agent recruiting systems is, yes, you may have to pay for a system, but guess what? When you're an agent and you're courting buyers and sellers, you're having to pay for some type of system that puts them into your funnel. So why not pay for that as a brokerage owner, right? Also on the list, we have social media groups and your connections there. Now, you can't go into social media groups and recruit agents, but you can start with finding out who's in your area and developing relationships. So always keep a hot list, as I call it, of your top 30. And you'll have a sheet to do that today. As a matter of fact, why don't I go ahead and share a file with you right now. It's our activities number 5. Okay, let me know if you get that. It's called MasterMind Activities number 5. Okay, Carrie said, what agent recruiting systems are out there? That is a great question. I actually have a list of 5 or 6 of them. So I will follow up with that after our webinar today and give you a list of what's out there. There are a few that are really great. There are also some that are extremely expensive. And so it would depend on what your budget is and what you're looking for. Okay, did everybody get the week number 5 activity worksheet? Go back over here, make sure we're downloading that. Okay. Okay, the activity worksheet is, I'll open mine here so we can go through it together. The very first item in here, the first page, is identifying our culture. Is our culture attractive? How does it sync with our vision, mission, and values? At the very beginning, we said, what are the characteristics in your brokerage? Would people, your agents, your current team, agree with that's part of your vision, mission, or values? So these are just some samples. Obviously, you can change it to be what you want to be. So, oh, Angela says you're not sure. You're viewing it on your cell phone. Okay, Kira, Tanya, yes, you got it. Great. Now let's go to flip to page, the last page in there, page 4. It's the recruiting hot list. And that's an activity where you can brainstorm 30 prospective agents that you would want to see at your brokerage. And just like when you're looking for buyers and sellers, don't you keep a list of prospective buyers, a list of prospective sellers? Same thing. Same concept. You have a list of prospective agents that you're looking to recruit in your brokerage. As soon as you recruit one, you can take their name off the list, add a new person on. Or if, something happens, you want to add somebody else, you can take somebody off the list. Okay, so there you are. You got your recruiting hot list. You can see on our slideshow right there, it should have the names of 30 agents. Add them to your drip campaign, set weekly goals for yourself, and make sure, most importantly, that you follow up consistently, right? Persistently and consistently. Those are the keys to a successful business. Our goal is to build business friendships because our business is all about people and relationships, and that's why we intentionally meet new people. Also, besides meeting new people, what about molding, shaping, polishing, and preparing the people you already know? So think about that a little bit, new or existing agents. And this is a little bit of thinking outside the box of people that you know who are agents, and think of people that you know who are not yet agents, and they might fit great in your brokerage. That might be a great place to find people, is going through your contact list of people you already know. Hello, nice to meet you. Will you marry me? Doesn't that sound ridiculous? Making a lifetime commitment to a stranger? But you know what? That's exactly what we do when we go up to an agent and we pitch our brokerage and ask them to join our company without first cultivating a trusted relationship. They want to know a little more about us. They want to know if you're trustworthy, if they can depend on you. They want to know what benefits you offer, how it compares to what they have currently, right? So start with building the relationship first. Don't just pitch, because otherwise, after a while, people will start to avoid you as that annoying salesperson always trying to pitch something. Okay, Dean Aguilar says, is there a good drip campaign template to add into existing CRMs? Yes, there absolutely is. And I will be sending that to you at the after the webinar is over, because I have a list of quite a few resources for you. So great question. Good. Thanks for asking. Cultivate Newbies. So these are folks who are not yet licensed or not yet working with their license, but they're in the process. So where do you find these people at? Well, first of all, state licensing. Are they registered for the exam? Have they passed the exam? Now, in California, I know this is not in all states, but in California, you can actually go online to the DRE website. You can pay for a list of these people, and you can use that as part of your drip recruiting system. Another great place is real estate schools. You can possibly visit some classrooms as a guest and share your experiences about working in real estate. If you have instructors that trust you at that level and the school allows that to happen, or you can just become an instructor yourself. Becoming an instructor has been a very successful technique for those attracting agents to their brokerage. If you do that, I would suggest that you form a different entity, not with the name of your brokerage. The reason is because other brokers are going to send agents to you, and if you're being an instructor and you have a school under your name of your brokerage, they're probably not going to send them to you. So we're talking about real estate licensing classes here, right? So set up a contact system with regular follow-up, and follow through. Now, what about licensing programs? Wouldn't it be great to partner with a training company and give those newbies a path to licensing? People contact you, or somehow you find them, they're referred to you by an existing agent, say, hey, I'm thinking about getting my real estate license. You say, great, go over here and come back when you're done. What are the chances they're actually going to come back? They're going to go over there and get recruited by somebody else. So keep them in your funnel, hold them close, continue to cultivate them by helping them with licensing classes, exam prep classes, and you can even guarantee them to pass. And if they don't pass, that maybe you'll pay for them to take another exam prep class free if it's not already free. We do have a resource for you at Realty Pro Academy. And that resource, we do offer licensing programs through our partner with OnCourse. And we do have the link right up there at the top. It's segmented by state, so you can find whatever state you're looking for. So that is a great recruiting strategy for newbie agents. Now we're going to talk about not yet licensed. What are not yet licensed? Those are non-customers. We touched on that before, but this is actually a blue ocean strategy. The blue ocean strategy is think outside the box, or should we say the circle, and we can see right here in the red is your current market. Tier 1 is soon to be. Those are probably, newbie agents or agents you're recruiting. Tier 2 are those who are refusing, or they have said, I don't want to become an agent. And Tier 3, those are unexplored. Okay. Unexplored is that segment of the market who have not yet thought about becoming real estate agents. And they're people that you maybe are looking at the disc profile and you're thinking, wow, this person is a high I. They would be great at my brokerage. I would love to recruit this agent, but they have no plans to get licensed. So you talk to them, have a one-on-one conversation, and start to cultivate them as maybe looking at real estate as a second career, or switching careers, or starting a new career. Okay, so that is the not yet licensed. Anybody have any questions or comments? Go ahead and type it into the chat there. What about recruiting events? Events drive people to you, right? That's why we have open houses. That's why we have first-time homebuyer seminars. That's why we have housewarming parties for our new buyers. because events drive people to us. Even if they don't attend the event, an event is a good opportunity to contact people, right? So hold recruiting events monthly and consistently, and those events can help you extend your reach, build your brand, gain visibility, and you can be seen as a high quality company. Who does recruiting events? All the big franchises do them. So if you're a little mom and pop shop, shouldn't you be doing the same thing? Obviously, it's successful for them if they have 50 or 100 agents. So think about holding a regular recruiting career night or whatever it is. You can be a little more creative with it, but something where you can bring those agents in. It doesn't even have to be a recruiting per se. It could also be something like, just a fun event that your brokerage is holding. Maybe a family day in the park or something, right? All right, so let's keep going here. What is the point? The point is always be recruiting. Coffee is for recruiters, right? So the power of asking. Yes, you have to ask. Will you be rejected? Yes, you will. That's part of the game. But sometimes no just means not right now, and always be planting those seeds, right? Okay, so schedule weekly interviews with prospective agents, plug it into your calendar, and be persistent. So let's talk about that for a minute. Some of us are unhappy because we don't have new agents contacting us. Well, you need to set up your system, plug it into your calendar 2 or 3 days a week. Say, for example, every Tuesday morning between 9 to 11 and every Thursday morning between 9 to 11. Those are my interview times, and I will schedule 2 interviews on Tuesday morning, 2 on Thursday morning. Now, when you're an agent, you plug those times in as times that you're going to meet with prospective sellers or buyers. Those are your interview times with your clients. So as a brokerage, you need to have those regular, consistent times built into your calendar and be filling those slots. So every week, your job is just to fill those slots with appointments with prospective agents. And remember, persistent and consistent wins every time. Any questions or comments? Is everybody getting some great tips here? Lastly, on this topic, a word of caution. Most realtor and real estate events are recruitment-free zones, as we call them. You cannot recruit agents at real estate events. But what can you do? You can make friends, you can meet people, and you can focus on building long-lasting business relationships. And that's the way recruiting should be done anyway, right? O'Donna says, yes, thank you. Awesome. All right. All right. Next we have step 2, which is our value proposition. Your value proposition is what product or service are you offering to your agents? What would make them want to jump ship at the competitor and come over and join your brokerage? First, let's talk briefly about who are your customers. Here's you, an independent brokerage owner. I'm going to try to use my little whiteboard here. Okay, here we go. All righty, let's see if I can use my little whiteboard circle here. All right, got it to work. All right, so here's you as the brokerage owner. And what do you have under you? You have agents. What do they have under them? They have buyers and sellers. Many of us as brokerage owners, sometimes we get a little confused and we try to go directly to buyers and sellers, thinking those are our customers, when actually it's the agents, because we hire the agents to go get the buyers and sellers. Now, I know that legally and technically, the buyers and sellers belong to the brokerage because the contract is with the brokerage. But honestly, without the agents, that wouldn't happen. Now, if you are going directly to buyers and sellers, for example, you have a lead generation service, you're going to be charging your agents a higher cost for that, right? Okay. So in this example, the brokerage, Who are your customers, agents? Well, let's look at the next screen. In this case, here you have the brokerage owner with multiple offices, and there are office managers, and under the office managers, you have agents and then buyers and sellers. So who are your customers now? Would you say they're your office managers who then communicate with your agents? And over here, we have a different model. What if you are creating a franchise? What if you're under a franchise, right? So who are your customers? If you're a brokerage, under a franchise, or if you own a franchise or you're creating a franchise. So, alrighty, there's my little screen. So multiple brokerage offices, a franchise or business model, always stay focused on who your customers are so you can serve them adequately and continue recruiting more. What do agents want? That's the question of the day, isn't it? Do they want commission splits and fees? Do they want to make the most money? Well, we all know that sometimes there are competing brokerages that promise them the world and such a high commission split, or zero commission, a small flat fee. But if the agents aren't producing over there, what good does that do? So when I get done with this, I'm going to give you a little tip about doing a net sheet. So remind me if I don't tell you. Do agents want tech tools? Do they want lead generation? Systems? Do they want culture? We talked about the earlier mindset, the training that goes along with being a producer, a solid producer. Do they want education and training? Do they want corporate accounts that the business can just be handed to them and they don't have to go out and do the marketing for that? What do you think? So here we said agents want money. That's in the middle of our little diagram here. But they also want branding, culture, training. The location is important to them. The perks, the growth is important to them. Which rank the highest? Okay, Deb says, what about broker owners who are top producers? I would be broke if I depend on my agents to support me. That is true. There are many of us brokerage owners who are still the primary producers for our brokerage. Under this business model, your goal is to bring on those agents who are producing so you can step into more of a management role and you can help your agents and focus on building them up to be top producers. That is a little bit of a hard switch to make. So that's definitely a good goal to work towards. But one thing we don't want to do as brokerage owners is we don't want to have a big fancy office and we work hard to pay the overhead for our office so that the agents can come and go as they please and work whenever they want to. And we're basically supporting agents who work whenever they feel like it. So that's one thing we want to be careful not to do, is not to have brokerage overhead that we're paying for out of our personal production, because the agents need to be the ones carrying the cost and they need to be the one making the brokerage a profit. And if not, maybe the business model is wrong and we need to look at tweaking the business model. Hope that answered your question. Okay, so for the previous two slides, we talked about what agents want. And I know there are some brokerages that say, we provide the best, we provide the greatest, we provide this benefit, that benefit. We have a whole list of benefits we provide to you. Often what they're not providing are benefits, they're providing features. So let's talk for just a minute about the difference. A feature is a service offered. A benefit is what it does. It's how it provides you, the agents, with the value that they want. That's why we're calling it value proposition. So I liken that to, I don't know if anybody in marketing has heard this term before. There's two islands. There's Pleasure Island and there's Pain Island. And your agents are on Pain Island right now. And what are you showing them? You're showing them Pleasure Island, how great it's going to be. Come join us because here's what you can get. You can have production, you can make money, you can have the lifestyle, you can have, great networking, and you can do all these great things. And here's what your life is going to look like. So as I said earlier, paint the picture of how it's going to look afterwards. When you give them a list of features, you're not painting the picture for them. You're just saying, here's item number 1, 2, and 3. And you're actually just talking about the ship. They get in the ship from Pain Island to get to Pleasure Island. Honestly, they don't care what ship they take. They don't care if it's a luxury liner or they don't care if it's a little rowboat, as long as they get to Pleasure Island, right? So think about that a little bit. Think about, are you telling them, oh, we provide this and this, or are you saying, here's how it's going to look at the end? Oh, and I did tell you to remind me about the net sheet. So what if you had an agent that was attracted to your company? You put them in your slot, you made an appointment, you had them come into your office, and then you showed them the features versus the benefits. So you can actually do a net sheet just like you do when you're talking to your sellers. What do you do when you're meeting with your sellers? You show your sellers, okay, here's what your house could sell at. Here's the expenses. And here's my compensation. And then here's the bottom line. Here's what you're going to net. What if you could show your agents, prospective agents, and show them a net sheet and say, okay, here's where you are right now. Here's where we can help you get to. You're closing 5 transactions a year. With our system, it's proven that our average agent closes 20 per year. How would that make your life different? Here's what would happen. And yes, here's our compensation split. It is higher than brand name X. And here's why. It's because we provide you a steady stream of leads. We take a higher percentage of each sale, but you get more sales. At the end, at the bottom, you could be earning $70,000 a year, where with brand X, yes, they provide a better split or more features, but at the end of the day, you'll only be making $50,000 with them, right? So that's your net sheet. That's your comparison. That's getting them to where they want. That's focusing on the benefit to them, not just the features. So think about providing, one of the things could be a 45-day guarantee, saying, if we don't help you close 2 transactions in your first 45 days, then, you can go somewhere else, but that's our guarantee to you. So think about doing something like that. Okay, Donna says, Deb, do you send those agents lead to work, or are they just not motivated? Yeah, I think that's a huge topic that we can touch on. One thing we as brokerages fail to do is we don't do market research. Market research means finding out what those agents want, what they need, what's going to make them come to your brokerage, and what's going to make them stay there. And this is an example from Tristan in the Lab Coat Agents group. He had a post. It was, 89,000 real estate agents are in that group. His post said, his discussion said, if you could add one thing to make your brokerage amazing, what would that one thing be? Look how many comments. Within a short period of time, he got 254 comments from agents saying, here's what I want my broker to do better. Now, this is not only market research, this is free market research. You just have to be listening and paying attention. Find out what your customers want. Apply that to your brokerage and then measure it and see what their satisfaction level is. Okay. Here's an example of a client survey. I call this a Fortune 500 concept. Now, this is where you can survey your existing agents or prospective agents to find out what their needs and wants are. Before you go out and buy $1 billion worth of tech tools that your agents aren't interested in or won't use, that might sound like something great for you to spend your money on, do a little research first. So here in this example, we have a point Likert scale, which is, do they strongly agree, neutral, disagree, or strongly disagree? And we just have some sample questions. You can write your own questions, but talk about things that your brokerage offers or you're thinking about offering. For example, in this survey, tech tools are vital to my daily business success. Would your agents agree, or do they not care as long as the bottom line is production, earning an income? I would take a lower commission split in favor of steady leads. As a brokerage owner should be available to agents for consultations. My brokerage should supply training and education at no additional cost. Now, this is not a real questionnaire. I just marked some answers on here so you can see how it would work. But how do you really know what your agents want and need unless you ask them? So that's the importance of constantly doing client surveys. Now, as a brokerage, you're hopefully doing those with your buyers and sellers also. But remember, those are not your primary clients. Those are your secondary clients. Don't forget about your primary clients, those agents. They are the backbone of your business. Okay, so I do have a little tip here. This is my top 3 list of what agents really want. Now, they can say they want tech tools. They can say they want a CRM system. They can say they want leads. But again, those are not really benefits. Those are just features, things that you can offer. What they want as a bottom line, this is based on my own informal research. Number 1, they want a steady stream of business. Many real estate agents start part-time and they hope to work their way up to full-time, and they want to have a steady stream of business that they can support their family so they can quit their other job and work in real estate full-time, or at least it's something that's earning them an income rather than costing them money with marketing, MLS fees, realtor dues. Number 2 is they want more certainty in their paycheck. For that, I would suggest maybe looking at other compensation models between straight commission split. And we're going to touch on that a little more. But that is a big thing. That is one of the biggest pain points of agents is not knowing if you're going to have a closing and you're going to get paid this month, or if it's going to be next month or the month after. Wondering if you're going to have a cancellation and doing everything in your power to save a closing from blowing up so that you can actually get paid that month. So that is a huge, huge pain point. It's pain points for us as brokerage as well, but we have other methods to neutralize that threat, if you want to call it that. And one of those is, property management. We talked about that last week, and bringing in some diverse revenue streams. But as agents, they often don't have that option. Number 3 is health insurance. And I know some of us think that's not a big deal, but for a lot of agents, it really, really is. And it might not be talked about as much, but that is, in my opinion, the number 1 reason stopping most agents from going to part-time to full-time is having that health insurance, knowing that they can take care of themselves and their family. And that's why usually one spouse has to work and they support the agent who has a real estate license and is trying to earn an income from real estate. So those are my top 3. Excuse me. I hope you find that useful and something to definitely to start the wheels turning and what you think about you offer to your agents. So when we're talking about features versus benefits, instead of throwing out all these great tech tools that you have and you provide this and this and this, why don't you start thinking about providing them the benefits of, we can help you have a steady stream of business all year long, get paid twice a month, and, health insurance, you may not be able to provide that for independent contractors, but there are other things that you can do instead and other benefits you can offer. And there are some flexible health insurance plans too. So, but that's not the point. The point is these are the agent's top 3 based on my informal research, and definitely something that you need to be aware of and tune into when you're talking about recruiting agents and keeping them there. So how do they get that steady stream of business? Filling their pipelines. Just like you fill in your pipeline with agents, they fill their pipeline with buyers and sellers. They need to have some type of lead generation. I know a lot of us say, I work organically by referral, which is great. But even if you work by referral, if you want to have a steady stream of business, you have to have a process. You have to have a system in place, right? I'm not saying you have to pay for leads, but you do have to have a system in place. So how much does that lead generation cost? What level? How about the cost of it versus the profit? Make sure that you're actually making a profit. It's not costing you more than it could profit, and distribute among agents. So many agents, they want to do some type of paid lead generation system. They don't have the ability to do that on their own. So that's why they have teams to help distribute that cost among everybody. So you have a lot of people pitching in to the cost, but also a lot of people are splitting the profits as well. So think about doing something like that on a brokerage level. I know there are some pros and cons about lead generation at a brokerage level. So that's a whole nother topic, but it's something definitely to start you thinking along that road. So any questions about that? Okay, so this concludes our product mix package. By the way, it's been 1 hour, so we're probably going to need another good 30 minutes. If you have time, please stay on. If you don't, you can watch the replay. But we got some really great stuff for you today. And, I knew it was going to be long. We just have a power-packed MasterMind webinar today. So you're in conclusion about the product mix package. There's 3 things to focus on. Number 1 is your service mix. That's what you offer. Number 2 is your profit centers. What ways can the agents make money and how much money can they make? And number 3 are your success systems. That's your training and guiding them to be productive. Okay. Now we're going to talk about compensation plans. Now, I'm aware of the Sherman antitrust rules, and of course, we're not going to be promoting any type of compensation plan at all. So let's get started here, and let's just talk about what they are. So there are many, many types of compensation plans. If you're at a traditional brokerage that offers a commission split with a standard cap, and you're not aware there are other plans out there, you need to know that there are a lot of different brokerages doing a lot of different things. It's a very innovative market as far as brokerage offerings to agents, compensation plans, and there are a lot of brokerages competing for your agents, and you need to make sure you're competitive. Of course, you still need to make a profit, which we're going to do a little calculation on that in a bit. So for your compensation plan, the traditional model is a percentage split with a cap, or percentage split without a cap in some cases. One of the newer model is a flat monthly fee. Now, a flat monthly fee is sometimes referred to as a 100% commission model. I'm not sure that's the right term for it, but definitely there are fees paid by the agent, whether it's flat monthly fee or the next one, which is a transaction fee. And a transaction fee means they're paying a certain dollar amount for every transaction they close rather than a percentage. It's just a flat fee. Now, also, we shouldn't discount the business model of an employee being paid hourly or salary. I prefer hourly for agents, a very small hourly, plus bonuses, big bonuses. That is an innovative model, is being tried by some corporate brokerages that have big funding. I'm not sure that they have been successful in doing it in the way that's best, most profitable, and best for consumers. And I think there is a lot of room for brokerages to improve that model, that business model. So that's something to think about. And if you're interested in that, we can talk about it. Just send me an email. I'll be happy to talk with you about some ideas that are part of innovation in that area. Also, are your agents being paid an incentive for referring other agents? There are a few big brokerages that do that model very successfully, and it is successful because everybody, if they're happy, they have word of mouth, they tell their friends come over, and everybody benefits. And there's also a profit sharing bonus, and there are other types of compensation. These are probably the main ones. Now, you don't have to stick with just one of these. You can do them in combination. The only thing I would suggest not doing is trying to pay employees both and as an employee and as an independent contractor. You're going to pick one or the other. Make sure you follow the state laws about employees and independent contractors at all times. And I would suggest consulting with your CPA and your attorney on that when you're forming your business model. Okay. All right. I have an example here, and this is the last thing we're going to talk about, compensation. But I did want to provide this two-dimensional plan as an example of sort of being innovative and thinking outside the box. Now, when I started my California Coast and Country Homes brokerage, it was in 2009 at the bottom of the market, and I had nothing to lose. It was already the bottom of the market, and it turned out to be a very successful business model. And I based it on two things, because many brokerages, they're very linear in their agent compensation plan, and it's not really tailored to the agents in the best way possible. So this one is tailored to the agent and the transaction. So in the top, we see fees due to the brokerage, and those are based on two things. One is the associate power level, as we call it, and the other is based on the transaction amount. So first, let's talk about the transaction amount. You can see it starts up to $100,000 and goes to over $1 million, depending on the level. We call them copper, bronze, silver, gold, platinum. The reason is because our brokerage had offices in high cost areas as well as lower social economic areas, and our transaction prices for our agents between our several offices range from $64,000. Actually, we had an agent that closed a few transactions for about $45,000. Yes, single family homes in Fresno. And then we had agents closing $2 million houses in Carlsbad. So we definitely wanted to account for the differences between those. The second part is the associate power levels. So you have agents who are newer. We call those rookies. You have agents that are mid producers. I probably call them that. Those are champions. And then you have masters. Those are your seasoned pros. And for us, that was determined by how many transactions they had closed in their lifetime. So if they close 3 or more transactions, like maybe say 3 to 10, they could be a rookie, more, 10 to 20, a champion, over 20, a master. I don't remember what the plan is, but that's something like that. Okay. So the reason we broke it up by power levels or the agent experience level is because, wouldn't you agree, as a brokerage, it costs you a lot of time and a lot of energy and even money to support newer agents, because they're constantly on the phone, they're asking you advice, they need a lot of training, they need mentoring. So for those agents, we charge them a little more. For the agents who are seasoned pros, they can figure a lot of this stuff out. They've written 1 million contracts. They know what they're doing. They don't need every contract reviewed. So that accounted for the difference. With the caveat of those who are brand newbie agents, we don't even put them on the chart. They work with the brokerage or a mentor individually, and they have a very high split that the brokerage gets because it's a lot of your time and effort, right? So that's how that worked. If anybody has any questions, please let me know. This is I call this my secret sauce. I'm spilling my treasure chest right now with all of our great things. I have never before released a sample compensation plan. Of course, this doesn't have any dollar amounts in it, but just the concept of that. So I've never released that to a group like this. I only offered in my private consulting sessions. So you guys are getting something really fantastic here. And this is something I have to say, I put a lot of time and effort and thought into this, and it worked perfectly. Okay, perfectly. It's very easy for agents to figure out how much they're getting paid for every transaction. They look at the chart, they know their dollar amount, they know what their fees are. In addition, they do pay the transaction coordinator as a separate fee. They reimburse that fee. And then we also do have a risk management fee that pays for, helps pay for E&O insurance and legal help and a little package of things we offer them. Okay. So I hope that helps somebody to think a little bit outside the box of the traditional cap, or should I say split with cap. Okay. Any questions? We're going to dive into agent profitability now. There's no questions. No questions? Okay, I hope everybody's ready for a little math right now, because in order to figure out the agents, how they contribute to the company's bottom line, we do have to do some math. I have an Excel spreadsheet prepared for you, and I'll make that available right now, actually. All right, so we're going to go over here. So those of you who are able to stay on, you're going to get something great. It's called Brokerage Agent Calcs. It is an Excel worksheet. So go ahead and let me know if you can download that and open that. Oh, thank you, Murnash. She says you've been through. Okay, awesome. Glad you're seeing some benefit. We're probably going to go for another 20 minutes or so here. Okay, let me know if you can download the worksheet, and as you're downloading it, I'm going to go ahead and talk about it. Okay, Eric says, great. Okay, wonderful. So production and profitability, hiring agents, it's all about the Pareto principle, right? The 80-20 rule, which is where 20% of your agents are doing 80% of the production. Wouldn't you agree? Oh, got it. Okay, great. Danny said downloaded. Okay, great. That's perfect. So let's look at those agents. I group agents into tiers. Tier 1 are those top producing agents. I call them superstars, or sometimes they're called cappers or mega agents. That's going to be about 20% of your agents, and they're producing 80% of your production. And those are the agents who are financially supporting the brokerage. Those are the ones that you need because they are bringing in the bulk of the business. And without them, your agency can't survive. Now, if you open the worksheet that I gave you, on the bottom of the Excel worksheet, you're going to see some tabs. On the right, there's a red tab called Tiers. So go all the way over to that, and you can follow along with where I'm at now. Okay. Tier 2 are your seasoned agents. Those are what I call your mid-level producers. That I would guess that's about 40% of your agents in a good brokerage, and they make up about 15% of your sales production. Now, those agents might be happy being mid-range producers, or they might be people whom you can mentor and drive them up to tier 1 to be high producers. So those might be people on their way up to a higher tier. Then you have your tier 3 agents. Those are your low producers. They might be low producers for several reasons. They might be newbie agents who are just starting out. They might be part-timers who only do a sale here and there. Those are, I would estimate, about 30% of your agents. They make up about 5% of your sales production. And your goal as a brokerage is to take those agents and bring them up to the next level, to tier 2. So do you see that pattern? You're taking the tier 3 agents, you're bringing them up to tier 2, and tier 2, you want to bring them up to tier 1. So that's your goal, is to bring those agents up to another tier. Then you have your tier 4 agents. Those are what you might call license hangers or referral only agents that are not producing. They make up about 10% of your agents and 0% of your sales production. And as a broker, you need to decide if you're going to terminate those agents or continue with them, depending on what your goals are as a brokerage and depending on your profitability and what it's costing you to keep them in the brokerage, which we're going to look at in just a minute. So also in the tiers tab, you're going to see this little chart. It shows tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4 of agents. You can see in the top tier, those are our top producers. And, in this example, they're closing, probably 80, upwards of 80 transactions per year. Then you have your tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. Now, in this example, there are 30 agents. 30 agents is what I believe you need as a minimum to be a successful brokerage company. If you have fewer than that, here's the problem. Say, for example, you have 10 agents. If you have 10 agents, how many agents are in tier 1? Well, using the 80-20 rule would say 2 of our agents are in tier 1. So your entire brokerage is revolving around those 2 agents who are your top producers to, fund the brokerage and to sustain it. And what happens when they jump ship and go to another brokerage? Now you have nobody supporting your brokerage. And will they change and go to another brokerage? Probably, eventually. I call it musical offices. I think agents change brokerages about every 2 to 3 years. And that's why you need to constantly be recruiting to replace those that you're going to lose through attrition. But again, the more agents you have in the tier 1, they help support your brokerage so that you can offer the services to all agents and you can make a profit. Okay, so let's go to the tab there called Intro on your worksheet. This just explains a little bit about what's behind the worksheet and what you need to do to complete it for yourself. So the agent contribution to net profit. How much does an average agent cost you per year? And again, it's divided into producers and non-producers. So the producers, in this example, I consider those a tier 1 and tier 2. The non-producers, I would consider those tier 3 and tier 4. And that's just a good way to divide them to determine whether you can afford to hang on to the non-producers, right? This worksheet will also tell you how much profitability the average agent contributes to the company, the minimum number of agents that you need, and also helps you segment the difference in contribution between producing and non-producing agents, determining the correct customer mix and the ratio of hiring full-time versus part-time agents. Also, you're going to see that you can put in 2 different years. So like maybe this year and last year or 2 previous years, or you can put in this year and you're projected for next year. That helps you determine the year-over-year differences so you can assess whether the agents and which type of agents are growing the company's profitability. Also, how much does it cost you to recruit a new agent? In business, we call that your customer acquisition cost, and you need to know your cost so that you can make sure that you're getting a return on your investment of what costs you to recruit. How long do agents stay at your brokerage? That's your customer turn rate and life cycle. And then lastly, we talked about producing versus non-producing agents. You're providing agents with leads, marketing, private offices, and is the cost more than those who are working self-sufficiently without all those resources? In other words, are you as a brokerage paying for all these resources and features that you think make your brokerage so great that your agents aren't using, they don't care about, and it's not helping their productivity? Okay. Debbie asked, musical brokerage is standard. Yes. Sadly, that was one of the first things I noticed when I got my real estate license and I went to work for a brokerage. It seems like every 2 to 3 years, agents hop to a new office. Why? Because the grass is always greener on the other side. It's just human nature, right? So that's called attrition. So to combat that, we definitely want to make sure that we are continuing to recruit on a regular basis. Okay, so if you go to the tab called Income Statement in your worksheet, you're going to see something called My Sample Brokerage. And I'm just going to do a little screen share here, and I'm actually going to go through it on mine because it's easier for me. Okay, so to complete this worksheet, you're going to need a few things. You're going to need your income statement for the last 2 years, or your profit and loss, whatever you want to call it. And you're going to need to find out how much commissions your agents brought in, and then separate that by producing agents versus non-producing agents. Also, how much the agents cost you during the year and your overhead. So once you get those numbers, you can go to cell number C8, and you can type in there how many commissions were generated by producing agents, and then cell C9, how many commissions were generated by non-producing agents, and then cell C10, what were your agent fees that you collected monthly, and that will give you your, like say you charge your agents a transaction fee or whatever it is, a monthly fee or a desk fee or marketing fee, technology fee, whatever that is. And you're going to see the answer to that in C11. In this example, the brokerage made $10.2 million in commission generated. And then you go to your cost of services. That's cell C12. In this example, it's $8 million. And that is what you paid the agents. So you can already see you're about an 80% split of what you're paying your agents, approximately, 10 million versus 8 million. And then that leaves your gross margin, which is C13. Then you plug in your office, your overhead, your administrative expenses. Those are in business known as your fixed expenses, and that is cell C14. Oh, by the way, we talked about fixed and variable a couple weeks ago in session 3. So your variable expenses are C12. That's your cost of services. Then you get your net operating income, subtract your taxes, interest. You can see in cell C17, a little tongue twister there. You can see the net income is 1.1 million for this brokerage for 2016. Then you plug in 2015, and once you plug it in, by the way, only put information in the yellow cells. The white cells already have formulas, and if you type something in there, you're going to override the formula and mess up the worksheet. So only type in the yellow cells unless you know Excel really well, and then you can change it to whatever you desire if you know how to work Excel. So let's go to the next one. It's called agent contributions. And see, this doesn't, okay, I'm going to have to turn screen sharing off and turn it back on again because it doesn't advance. So the next worksheet is called agent contributions. In the agent contributions, you can see it took the numbers that we gave it. It calculated out our for 2016 versus 2015 in column C, in column F, and then you look at column H. Column H is your year-over-year comparisons. So that's taking the difference between last year and the year before that, the previous year. Did you go up? Did you go down? Also, if you know how many agents you had at the beginning and end of each of those years, segmented by producing agents versus non-producing agents, you put that into cell number C10, C11, C12, C13, and then it calculates some very interesting stats for you. You can see here in cell number C18, you had an average of 75 agents during the year. And in cell C19, the producing agents' average commission contribution was $170,000. That's how much revenue they brought into the brokerage. And the next one down, the non-producing agents brought $20,000 into the brokerage. Now here's where things can go wrong. You look at cell number C21. That's your total agents, average commission contribution, $133,000. The average, using an average is a very misleading number because you can see that we segmented it into producing agents versus non-producing agents. And there's a huge, huge difference between the two types of agents. Whereas if you look at it as an average, it might seem that the non-producing agents are doing well because the average is 133, when in reality, the average of non-producing agents is only about 20,000. So that is the reason I segment it between producing and non-producing agents. And then keep going down column C. C22, the commission closed by producing agents, 83%, 14% came from non-producing. This is a critical one, C24. The producing agent's average income contribution was $36,000 and some change. So that is great. They are contributing a lot to the brokerage. This is assuming that, that there aren't caps. And C25 is the non-producing agent's average income contribution to the brokerage was only $6,000. But how much did that agent cost us? We're going to find that out in the next worksheet. Okay, so let's go down to C29. That is your percentage of gross margin as a percentage of sales, net income as a percentage of sales, and net income as a percentage of gross margin. Now, what do these percentage numbers mean? They mean nothing unless you compare them to something. Well, obviously, if it's the bigger the number, right, the better. But also, we need to compare those with industry benchmarks of what other competing brokerages are doing in our marketplace. And we also need to compare them with last year, which is column F. So you can see F 29, 30, and 31. And then in column H, 29, 30, and 31, you can see the year-over-year comparison. Hopefully we did better this year than last year. Okay, so any questions on that one? Let me go back over here. Okay, I don't see anything in the chat, so excuse me. I'm going to keep going with the very last worksheet here in the series. And so if you want to turn to the blue tab called Agent Costs. This worksheet tells you two different things. First of all, how much it costs to recruit agents, and second of all, how much it costs you to retain those agents. And this is where the rubber meets the road. This is the very critical numbers here. So let's look at, you have to go back to your records and put the number of producing agents that you recruited during the year into cell B7 and B8. Once you do that, you can see in B9, you recruited 25 agents that year, but how much did it cost you? So in cell B12, you had career nights. The career nights cost you $300. The ads and promotions cost you $500. Lunches and meetings cost you $200. And other marketing, say you subscribe to a service that helps you with marketing and putting them in your funnel, say that's $1,000. So your total recruitment costs for the year were $2,000. And then in cell B18, it divides that by the number of agents you recruited. So in this case, your per agent cost was only $80, which I would say is very good, being as how they're bringing, thousands of dollars to the brokerage. So now, how much does it cost to retain those agents? We talked about offering tons of features. We offer tech this and offices and marketing and assistance, but is that profitable? And is that what the agents are using? So you can see in B, the table called B, ongoing retention costs per average agent employed. You can see here you have in column B, going down B24, 25, 26. Those are the agents that have that use your office. We'll say they all use the office in one form or another. Some of them use private offices. Some of them use cubicles, and some of them use shared office space, which is sort of like an open bullpen area, if you will. And how much does that space cost you. So that would be in cells E, 24, 25, 26. You need to find out how much your office is costing you per square foot for your private offices, your cubicles, and your shared office space. And I think you can figure out how to do that calculation. You look at your lease, what your cost is every month, how many square feet are being used by private offices, that type of thing. And then that gives us a result in column F. F24 is there's 5 agents using our private office. That costs us $1,000 a month. So that's $200 per agent. So right away, you know, if you're charging agents $150 a month to use a private office, you're already running at a loss on that service. If you're charging them $250, then it's profitable for you. So I hope that part makes sense. Let's look at the last few sections here. We have leads, lines 27, 28, 29. Say, for example, the lead is paying for a brokerage from source number 1 to remain unnamed. The brokerage is spending $5,000 a month. That's E27. But if you look at B27, only 15 agents are using this service. And how much does that cost the brokerage? Per agent actually using the service is $333, right? Same thing for lead source number 2, number 3. And so these are costs that you need to pass on to your agents in order for you to be profitable. You either charge them a monthly fee or, for the leads, or you somehow include that in their compensation plan. Maybe the percentage split is higher for you and lower for them when it's a lead generated by the brokerage. Okay. And then lastly, in lines 31, 32, 33, 34, you can see these are services you offer to the brokerage: marketing collateral, marketing supplies, an assistant, office equipment. How many agents are taking advantage of that service? That's in column B. And then you put in your cost per month and find out what it costs you. Okay, so drum roll, please. Bottom line is the average cost per agent using this service is F35, which is $1,593 a month. That's not the important number. The most important number is E37. What is the cost of all the services that you offer, and then divide that by all your agents? The average monthly is $440. So in my opinion, at my brokerage, every agent needs to be covering that minimum, right? Every agent needs to be producing enough to cover that. And what is that per year? That's E38. That's the annual cost of all the services that you provide per agent, $5,280. Now, if we go back to our agent contribution worksheet, we can see that in cell number C25, the non-producing agents had an average income contribution of $6,400. So they are barely covering their costs, and the profitability they're bringing to the brokerage is very small, $1,100, $1,200 a year. So I hope that helps answer a lot of questions. I'm going to stop the screen sharing here, and I'm going to go back. Okay, that's a lot to take in. I know this session is a lot, so I appreciate you, everybody, hanging in there. But please, I want to know if you have any questions. I probably can't answer those Excel questions in the chat, but I'll be happy to answer those individually if you email me, text me, Facebook message me, whatever. Okay, so I hope that helps explain it. Let's go back to the slide presentation because we got a few more things to go through here. This is where we were. And that's where we were. All right, so now we're going to talk about retention through education and training. And at a brokerage office, we don't just train and educate our agents. Oh, Murnage says, thank you, Regina. That was a great lesson. You're welcome. Glad you enjoyed it. Hey, this saves me the time of doing a one-on-one. I used to I still will do it for anybody that asks. I'll send them the worksheet, and then I get on the phone and spend about 15 minutes going through it with them. So education and training is essential not only to retaining agents and helping them be productive, but also as a risk management tool for our brokerage and something that enhances the culture, right? So let's get going on the education and training. It starts with the onboarding. Wouldn't you agree that agents who are onboarded correctly will stay at the brokerage longer because they'll understand what their expectations are and know what's provided to them, and it's an opportunity to develop a good working relationship with them. I always start my onboarding. Now, I used to have another company besides a brokerage. It was a retail store. And when I had new employees come on, I spent 2 to 3 hours with that employee one-on-one, just them and me, and I gave them my personal talk. I went through my expectations from them. I showed them how to do certain tasks that were important in the company, and I told them from my point of view what should be done and why and what I expected. And the reason is because if you don't start by teaching them that from your mouth, when they first start there and developing that relationship, they will pick up from other people at the company who might not be doing the job correctly the way you want it done. So I always start strong with a personal talk. And I tell them what the company's values are, our mission and vision. And I set the expectations. I outline the boundaries for them. And then I put them into the system. And the system is there's going to be onboarding, certain steps they go through as part of the onboarding. They can watch videos, they fill out forms, they can try things out, they can get a mentor. So there is a system, but I start with me first, and then they get the system second. Okay, Marcel asks, hi, Regina, are the presentation PowerPoints available for all the sessions? We don't have the PowerPoints available. However, we do offer for you a replay. You can do a replay for another week of this topic. I know it's a lot, and so you can watch as many times as you need to scribble your notes and things like that. But speaking of free giveaways, I do have something for you right now. So let's go to file sharing. And what I have for you now, you're going to love, is my agent onboarding packet. Okay, let me know, everybody, if you received the file I just shared called Agent Onboarding Packet. And what it is, it's some agent forms that you can use in your brokerage to help have a system. And this is one of my free gifts to you. I have another one, which we'll get to it shortly. So in this, I have an associate application. So I have them apply. There is a formal application process. One of the questions we ask in the application is, have you ever been sued? Have you had an E&O insurance claim? Have you been disciplined by the state or reprimanded by the realtor board? If any of those have happened, you don't want to find out after you've hired them and hear it through the grapevine or from your other agents. You need to know that right up front. Also, we have a little worksheet that allows them to list what closed transactions they have so we can determine their experience level, and also what active transactions they currently have right now. Why? Because are they going to be bringing any current transactions over from their current brokerage, or are those going to stay at the other brokerage? Do they have any buyers or sellers in the hopper, ready to go as soon as they get over to your brokerage? I know a lot of agents do that. They hold on to those buyers or sellers knowing that they're going to move to another brokerage. Okay. Also, we have an onboarding and orientation checklist, and that will help you have a system of what needs to happen to every new agent. Now, for me, I have an assistant. She does all of this for me. This is her her checklist of things that she does or helps them with. Now, as I said, I welcome them personally. That's me. I provide them the vision, the mission, and that type of thing. And then from there, my office assistant We'll help them get their license switched, get the contract signed, the welcome package, the policy and procedures manuals, the videos to watch, all of those things. That's all system. You don't have to participate in any of that. Just put them in the system and let the system work, right? And then I have an email. That's a sample email I send out to new associates. I thank them for joining the team and tell them, here's your welcome package. Here's all the things that are included. Here's things that you need to do. Make sure you join our office meetings at this time and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so any questions about that? Agent onboarding forms packet. Okay, really valuable stuff there. Hope you enjoy it. And we're going to keep going on. Talking about measuring goals. Okay, so when they do their onboarding, that's when you want to set the goals with them. What are their financial goals as far as production and profitability? What are their life goals? And you're going to break that down into quarterly, annually. Give them incentives for finishing the process of going through their goals and following up on their goals. And remember, as we said at the beginning, motivation is internal. It's not something that you can offer to an agent. They have to be motivated internally, but you can offer some external rewards. And there might be different types of rewards. What about a mentoring program? Oh, by the way, okay. With the onboarding, we do have a system available for you. If you look up in the top, I'm just going to go ahead and put it in the chat right now. But if you look at the top of the chat, or what I just now put in, it's called More GCI, and that's through Johnny Mo's system. It's an agent onboarding system that can help you get the agents setting their goals, get them up and going in the very beginning when they join the company. That's so critical. I believe 90% of their performance and production is based on what you do when you're onboarding them, when you very first hire them. If you have agents who are, you have to terminate at the end, maybe it's because of a values mismatch. Your values didn't align with theirs, or it could be that they weren't onboarded correctly. And in that case, we have nobody to blame but ourselves, right? Mentoring program. Offer a formal apprentice mentor program. That's where you pair seasoned pros with newbies. It has to be mutually beneficial. You have newbies who are learning a lot from these seasoned pros. They're following them around and probably annoying these, their mentors, but the mentors need to get something out of it as well. They can have the apprentice person help them with maybe their open house flyers or maybe whether it's, sending out mailers or making some phone calls or, setting up things that need to be done like inspections. So make sure the program is mutually beneficial for both parties. And again, there is a system to it. I do have a package. So if you're interested in that, give me contact me and I'll help you with provide some type of a package of our formal mentoring program. Okay, Liliana says, is there a script for a pitch that has worked for recruiting an experienced agent? And I do not have a script per se because I actually believe in a long-term system with not just one script, but an entire series of follow-ups. So good question, though. If somebody else has a script, you can definitely, chime in there. Office meetings. Wouldn't you agree that office meetings are necessary? Number one, for risk management, because we want to prevent agents from doing the wrong thing, and we want to keep them abreast of the laws and make sure we're fulfilling our legal duty to supervise them. But office meetings are also a great place to spread the culture and to help our agents be productive through the learning that we're teaching them. Hopefully we're teaching them, steps to make more sales. So in our office meetings, we want to have an engaging agenda and make sure we get everybody's participation. I'll tell you one trick to getting everybody's participation, and that is to have them present something. So have, every week different agents can present some tips to their fellow team members, And by doing that, you get everybody's participation. Bring in guest speakers. They don't have to be there for an hour. They can come for 10 minutes. What about vendors? These agents need some great vendors in their Rolodex, so bring them in. And most importantly, bring the fun. Make it a culture of value, fun, energetic, high energy level, and make sure that everybody is getting something out of it. Otherwise, they just won't participate. Okay, newbie agents seek training and support. What do seasoned agents value the most? That is a great question. They probably don't value the training and support as much, but definitely, like we said at the beginning, the top three things are: number one, steady stream of income; number two, certainty of paycheck; and number three, health insurance. So for those who are already there, maybe you have some top producers who are already there, it would be great if you could offer them something that helped enhance their skill set and continue growing with the company. I would look at grooming those people for leadership positions within the company, because if they're not growing, they're probably going to think about leaving at some point. So include them in the leadership, draw them in little by little, and bring them into leadership positions. And they can also benefit from being a mentor, as I said earlier, and also giving back, right? People at that level, they, feel a strong sense of satisfaction and reward by giving back to the community and others. Let's talk about professional development courses. Professional development is ongoing. It's never ending. Why? Because there's so much to learn in our business. Even after 30 years, I'm still learning things. So you should either offer an in-house program or outsource a program, something that makes the training available to them. I would incorporate some professional development training into each of your regular meetings, maybe 5-10 minutes into each of your meetings. The bottom line is you want to show agents how they can be more professional, more productive. And when I say productive, I mean, profitable type of productive, but also fun and interesting. And offering a suite of courses could be a great recruiting tool for agents thinking about joining your company. There are many brokerages that offer no type of training. And so agents go to other companies that do offer that training. They attend their free training, and then maybe they get recruited there, right? So you want to recruit to yours instead of having your agents recruit other out. Okay, our last topic here is about retaining agents. So we've recruited those agents, we onboarded them, we trained them, we offer them great compensation, we make sure they're receiving value for in the company. How do we keep them there? How do we stop that musical offices from going around? So as I said earlier, this book right here is great. It's called Hiring, and it's about selecting the right people and keeping them there at your company. Invest in people as individuals. I had the privilege of hearing Dr. Oda Kovan speak at the Forbes Business Thought Leader event a couple weeks ago. And his number one takeaway was that your employees or agents, they want to know that you care about them as individuals. That was the number one thing that he got from all of his years of research. So be open and transparent with them. Listen to their needs. Respond to feedback. You don't have to agree. It's not a democracy. You don't have to do everything they suggest, but they want to know that they're being heard, that somebody cares enough to take the time to listen and respond to them. Also, I think it's really critical. We talked about this earlier. Lead by example. Be a role model of what you expect in your agents. Continue developing their strengths. For those that are, we just said it a minute ago, but for those who are top leaders, don't just do the same old thing with them, but find ways that you can keep challenging them, helping them grow their sphere and grow their leadership qualities and develop those strengths. The most important thing is to help agents meet their goals, not yours. Yes, our goal is profitability. We just crunch the numbers. They do have to meet our goals, but For the agents, they're not going to stay at your brokerage unless they're meeting their goals. Number one goal, be profitable. Be profitable immediately. Number two, earn more money annually and know what the other competitors are offering. Like I said, do a net sheet. Show them comparison on a spreadsheet where you can help them earn more money. And you can do that through goal setting. Setting those goals, achieving those goals, and making sure that you follow up with them quarterly, annually, with reviews to see if they're staying on track. If nobody cares about them enough to even sit down and do a review with them and help them set their goals, then why should they care, right? So they want to know that you care and that you're holding them accountable. Maybe their goal is to save for retirement. Maybe their goal is to work less and achieve more. Show them ways that they can meet their goals. Okay, lastly, I know we're running short here, so we won't do this poll, but we do have a little poll. What motivates your agents? Is it money and profit? Is it service and goals? Is it recognition? And it's important to know what motivates your agents to know what you need to offer and how you need to best approach them. And it varies by agent too, right? What about offering incentives? These are extrinsic rewards, right? As compared to motivation, which is internal. But incentives could be cash bonuses, lead distribution, income stream, recognition, team distinction, meeting their life goals. Some of these cost us money, some don't. For example, lead distribution doesn't cost any money to the brokerage. We're already distributing the leads. You're already accounting for that in the leads. But if you have agents who are top producers, why wouldn't you give them more leads? They've shown they can handle it. If you have agents who are responding quickly to the leads, right, continue feeding them the leads. If you have agents who are doing well, you can always recognize them in front of their peers. That costs you nothing, but it means the world to them to get a pat on the back and get recognition. So there's intrinsic goals, which are internal, such as maybe meeting a deadline or meeting production standards or even getting paid. And then you have extrinsic goals, which are things that you can reward them with. Maybe that's customer satisfaction or a recognition from the brokerage, right? So think about both of those. Last but not least, we do have to touch on this because part of the hiring and retention process is termination. Something we probably don't like to talk about, but we must. I have found that most agents are terminated not due to lack of production, but due to a values conflict. A conflict between what the brokerage says we want our culture to be and the behavior of the agent that breaks that culture. So if you have agents like that, first of all, try not to hire them. That's why you do a good screening in the beginning and interviewing and attracting the right agents to your culture. But if that does happen, fire them quickly. Why? You don't want to let a bad apple rot the entire barrel of apples, or you don't want to have good apples jumping out of your basket and going over to the competitor. And lastly, on termination, always follow the legal procedures. You should have some procedures available. We do have another little free download. And for those of you who are able to stay on, hooray, you're going to get one more little bonus here, which is our agent termination packet. So there you go. It's very cool. The agent termination packet has an associate probation form. So say, for example, before you fire an agent, you maybe give them a second chance, put them on probation. It has a termination checklist of things that you need to do when you terminate an agent. And again, your assistant can do a lot of that. So, for example, removing their license, removing their realtor membership, removing them from your newsletters, your training systems, changing the phone extension, collecting your door key, all of those things. You don't want to forget a step. So we have a system for you that allows you to make sure that you're compliant, You're following every step that you need to do when you fire an agent. We also have a form called Associate Termination Request that lists why they're being terminated. They might be terminated because they left the company. That's fine. Either way, you still need to have it documented of why they left and how you're going to dispense with their leads. So say the brokerage has generated leads. The agent has 10 of your leads they're following up on that haven't been, initiated by a buyer or seller as an official contract. So are you going to pull those leads back? Are you going to take those leads and bring them back to your brokerage and disperse them to other agents? What about listings? What about transactions that you currently have in escrow or in closing before they close? So under contract, I guess it's called in some states. And the last part of that is I would strongly suggest that you sit down with somebody leaving your company, whether you initiated or they did, and ask them to complete a review of your brokerage. You want to find out why they left and how you can prevent future agents from leaving, or if they're a good agent, if you would hire them back again if they were interested in coming back. So that's really, really important. We talked about at the beginning, giving a survey to agents to find out what they want. Here's an exit interview. And you could either have them fill it out or you can sit down and go through it with them. And lastly, I have a sample independent contractor agreement cancellation. Again, this is not for your use as is. This was a sample from a brokerage. Be sure to consult your attorney before you have any contracts or anything like that, and make sure that it's legally compliant and all of that type of thing. So hopefully everybody enjoyed that. We have, let's go back here to the chat. Oh, Donna asked for policies and procedures manual. I do not have one, but I do have a list of policies and procedures items that you might want to include in that. So if you follow up with me, I'll be happy to provide you that list. So remember, in your brokerage, whatever the question, the answer is always the same. Recruit more agents, right? Don't stop recruiting. Always be recruiting. Coffee is for recruiters. We have 3 books that we recommend you read. Hiring, The Best Place to Work, which is this one. And then we have The Culture Engine, a little bit about creating the right culture for your brokerage. Hope you enjoy those books there. By the way, they're all on Amazon. You can also listen, as I do with most of my books, and you can, I'll send you a link to all those and then you can take it from there. But we do have resources. I gave you the links to those: Realty Pro Academy licensing, training, and more GCI onboarding. And you got your free gifts already. Woohoo! Who's excited about your gifts you got today? And remember, create a system. Create a system, follow your system, make it easy for yourself. System stands for save yourself stress, time, energy, money. Who doesn't want to save all that? Put your systems in place. It can do 80% of the heavy lifting for you. So today we learned about some Fortune 500 concepts without the MBA price tag. Linnell says, you are awesome. Great info. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're welcome, Linnell. Woohoo! Thanks for tuning in. Hope this helps you rev up your brokerage. Any questions, be sure to email me. I know we don't have really a lot of time for that. Donna says, thank you. Liliana, thank you. You are welcome. We do offer custom business plans if that's something you're thinking about for your brokerage. We offer basic, advanced, and an advanced plus pro forma. We also do custom consulting. Tune in next week with our topic next week is strategy and competition. I promise it won't be this long. We just had a lot to cover today, and I wanted to try to cram it all into one session, so we did. Next year, our topics will be driving profits to the max and innovating with blue ocean strategy. And again, we do offer consultations to brokerages tailored to your needs, whatever they are. I'm available anytime, so feel free to reach out. And Marcel says, thank you. Sukita, thank you. Liliana, thank you. Donna, thank you so much. You're welcome. Awesome, everybody. Step 5 is agent recruiting. That's what we talked about today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And this concludes this session of Start Your Own Brokerage, Blueprints to Build Your Empire Profitably. And with that, I'm going to say toodaloo. Have a great, wealthy, winning Wednesday, everybody. And we'll see you next week for our next topic. And hope you have a productive week. Take all those great resources and bonuses and get busy working on your brokerage, not in your brokerage. So that's it. Oh, Cindy, question, is this available for replay? Yes. Everybody will get an email tomorrow morning. Within 24 hours of this starting, you'll get an email and it will have a link. You can watch it, and it should have all the downloads available too at that time. Okay, everybody, thank you. Bye-bye. Have a great week.